Hi, Sukhwinder. Thanks for joining.
My pleasure. Looking forward to it.
Perfect. So I think what we'll do is we'll make a start, and anyone that does join, they can just join into the middle, and we'll just update them as we go. Just conscious of time, as we have just about an hour and a half. But if people need to sort of drop off, just drop a wee message in the chat, let us know, and we'll keep each other updated. So thanks so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining and attending our Innovation in Diversity and Inclusion virtual award ceremony. Just want to start a huge congratulations to all the organizations on the call. Definitely a great achievement to stand out and be chosen from over 300 applications that have been put through. So definitely a pat on the back for everyone. And it's also a great opportunity to share your stories and your community impact. So well done, everyone, for making it to this stage. So once again, if more people are joining, we'll just kind of update them as we go. But once again, conscious of time, we will just dive right in. So today we are here to recognize the awards and winning organizations of our Innovation, Diversity and Inclusion Awards, supporting grants awarded by our Z Zurich Foundation. The awards initiative, just to let everyone know, was designed to honor initiatives that promote inclusivity and celebrate diversity within communities. We understand that charitable organizations play a crucial role in shaping our society. So these awards were made and with the aim to highlight and reward the outstanding work being done to ensure that everyone, regardless of their background, feels valued and included. So just on the screen, sort of just the three core areas that we were looking at during this time, when the applications were being assessed as well, were the organizational impact, not just to the local community, but the wider impact and the potential that could have as well in the future. As well as the sustainability of these initiatives. If these are maybe implemented with time and money, will it be long lasting and effective, and how that will lead back onto impact. That leads on to our last pillar of scalability. We want to promote our initiatives that can be scaled into all sorts of communities, big and small, once again fostering diversity and inclusion sort of network space that we are building. Within Zurich Municipal, this has sort of become kind of like a big talk over the past sort of 2 months, and we've been really excited and put a lot of work into it just to kind of be able to showcase the talent and the initiatives that have gone on across the community. So it's a really, really great opportunity, and just once again want to thank you all for taking part. So are we able to move on to the next slide for me, Jen? Thanks so much. So I did just want to cover a quick introduction just to our esteemed judging panel. They've taken the time out to sift through all the entries and highlight your efforts today. So most of them are on the call today, which is great, and we'll be introducing some of the awards, which is fantastic. So just to take this moment to thank the judges for your tremendous efforts and support across the awards. So we have Lisa Walsh, who wasn't able to join us on the call today, but has been really helpful in the support of judging the applications. We've got Waleed Macaulay on the call today, Ruth Adamson, Vicky Holloway. We have Raghuveer Dhaliwal, who was our NCVO partner, who was part of the judging panel too. Unfortunately, wasn't able to make the call either today, but really appreciate her help and support. We've got Anne Constant, Mark Heisman, and Samantha Owen also. So our judging panel really helping us out there, going through over the 300 applications and highlighting your efforts to bring them forward to ourselves today. And that's how we end up on our virtual award ceremony, which is fantastic. So thanks so much to our judges. Just on to the next slide for me, please, Jen. So before we present our first awards, I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Zoya. Zoya is a Palestinian-Ukrainian peace ambassador and storyteller, founded Waves to a Home, which I'm sure we'll hear about in a moment. So thank you so much for joining us here today, Zoya, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm very excited to be sharing my story with you. I can imagine everyone's excitement for today's celebration. I know it's online, but let's make the best out of it. So I'm a storyteller. My best way to introduce myself is by telling a story, and this is what I will do. But before I do that, I'd love to ask you a question. What story about your life do you tell yourself? Is it a story of freedom or a story of victimhood? I keep wondering about the story I tell myself as half Palestinian and half Ukrainian who grew up in Lebanon. As a child, I always wanted to be the human carrying the message of love and peace, but my story didn't start with peace at all. I was raised in a Palestinian refugee camp in Lebanon within a community filled with violence and ongoing conflicts. People would get killed intentionally or accidentally, and we would always hear gunfire, bombings, and shootings, and somehow we got used to that. But deep down, I was always worried. What if someone I love gets killed? In 2006, when I was just 6 years old, war happened in Lebanon. It was the first time my family and I fled a war seeking our safe haven, Ukraine. My whole life fit into one backpack. I felt I was fortunate that Ukraine was a safe space for me and my family. But that wasn't the case for other refugees, including my dad. As a Ukrainian, we managed to evacuate. As a Palestinian, my dad stayed behind. And I wondered, how could one document separate a whole family? We eventually returned to Lebanon after the war ended, but life remained harsh in the refugee camp. As a child, I was really ashamed because I had to live in one single room with my whole family for the first 15 years of my life. I was ashamed to tell my school friends that I come from a refugee camp because of the associated stereotypes and because in that reality, I had to study in the bathroom at times. At the age of 15, violence erupted once more, with bombs and gunfire shattering our lives. Our home, this time, was entirely consumed by fire, leaving us with nothing. I used to have a small memory box containing family photos. I lost that too. In 2021, as the situation in Lebanon worsened, we decided to have a fresh start in my second home, Ukraine. We finally found stability and began enjoying life again. I even managed to achieve one of my biggest dreams, which is to do like a solo traveling, and I wanted to find answers to my biggest questions about my purpose in life. I remember having this journal with me, and I wrote down the biggest dreams that I wanted to achieve in my life. But that reality didn't stay for so long because the war in Ukraine began, shattering us once more. As we were escaping the war in Ukraine, thousands of people struggled to get to the train that meant safety, that meant life. My legs were shaking as I was terrified that something bad could happen to my mom and my younger siblings. And in a cabin that's meant for two, we found ourselves 12 people squeezed together. How do you find strength and hope fleeing a war and knowing deep down that at any moment you could get killed with your whole family? Having survived two wars and become a refugee twice, as half Palestinian, half Ukrainian, what story do I tell myself? In that confined space, while escaping the war in Ukraine, standing body to body, terrified, my mom looked at me and said, Zoya, we should sing. And so we all did. We sang Ukrainian folk songs, and with each song, our resilience grew stronger. In that moment, I felt internal freedom. Not even a war could take it away from me. I knew if we make it out alive, I refused to become a victim in life again, and instead I would become a warrior and a fighter. I started sharing my story and realized how storytelling became my weapon, a healing power I started to use to collect the shattered parts of my story. Talking about my pain and letting it all out freed me from the mental prison I had within. I knew deep down I had the power. We have the power to reframe our own stories in a way that helps us lead change in our lives and the lives around us. And because I really wanted to become officially a change maker and a peace ambassador, I went to Google and I wrote down how to become a peace ambassador. And I came across One Young World Global Summit for Young Leaders that I've never heard about with a Peace Ambassador Scholarship. I applied, and little did I know that in a few months I will be in the UK with 2,000 young leaders from all around the world. I remember sitting together with other refugees during this global summit to discuss our shared traumas and our definition of home. It wasn't until this storytelling circle that we truly understood each other's struggles. We felt this collective power of storytelling. We felt belonging, and somehow we also felt home. I realized that storytelling not only heals us on a personal level, but also connects us with other people on a deeper level, allowing us to comprehend their realities. And it occurred to me, what if we could bring all these stories together? What if we could unite all these humans who carry so much pain and struggles, but also a burning desire to change their reality? Deep down, I felt the need to bring this magic of what we felt during that sharing circle to bring it to the world. So I founded Waves to Home, which is a global storytelling movement with 11 young leaders and from 9 different countries who deeply connected over that sharing circle. And because of that sharing circle, today we are providing safe spaces for other refugees, migrants, displaced people, and indigenous communities to share their stories from a warrior perspective instead of a victimhood perspective. And that's the change we are trying to bring to the world through storytelling, one story, one community, and one region at a time. With the power of storytelling, I was able to reframe my own story. So today, instead of hiding behind the fact that I come from a refugee camp, I speak confidently as twice a refugee and I say it. Instead of allowing my story to hold me back, I chose who I want to become. I always dreamt about becoming a storyteller, so I became one. I wanted to become a messenger of love and peace, so I became a peace ambassador. And instead of seeing myself as a victim, I tell myself a story of freedom, collectiveness, and hope. Remember the dreams I wrote down here during my solo trip? Well, the first thing that I imagined myself was becoming a storyteller. The second thing was a peace ambassador. And also, I wrote down a TED Talk speaker, a writer, and many more. I thought maybe one day in life I would achieve some. And little did I know that I would eventually start achieving my dreams. While I'm not yet a TED Talk speaker, who knows, I can imagine it happening already. And that's the power of dreaming and imagining. This is the power of imagination that no one can take away from me or from you. And I hope we allow this imagination to help us lead the best change that we can in the world. It's true that we cannot choose what happens to us, but we can certainly choose how we react to it. And that choice will make all the difference. Yes, wars and violence bring so much trauma and pain. However, within these traumas, there is also a space for so much love, collectiveness, and hope. Occupation may steal our homes and restrict our external freedom. Wars may kill the people that we love. Life difficulties could bring us the unexpected. But one thing I'm confident about is that no one can ever take our spirit away. Nothing can take my spirit and the spirit of every human fighting for justice and peace and a better world. The freedom and imagination that we have within this, no one can ever take. Nothing could stop us from being full of life and full of stories. And that is our true resilience. Our stories are our true resilience. Today, we are gathered here to celebrate the impact that you have been leading. Something that brings us all together are the safe spaces we are creating for others to make sure everyone feels belonging wherever they are and whoever they are. We all need these safe spaces to reframe our stories in a way that helps us grow as change makers and leaders. And the first step in creating that safe space for others is first to become a safe space for yourself. So, are you a safe space for yourself? Zurich Foundation has provided me and you with such a safe space to amplify our impact. And now it's our turn to pay it forward in our communities by ensuring our efforts reach as many people in many environments as possible, creating a better world for all. I also met a Spanish girl during that solo trip, same solo trip I'm mentioning. And she told me, I was asking her, like, how can I find my life purpose? And she told me, you will never understand what you are meant to achieve in this life if you don't go back to your story. So the answer behind our impact goes back to our stories. And every impact we are creating today comes from a story that has shaped us into who we truly are at this very moment. I leave you again with this question. What story about your life do you tell yourself? Is it a story of victimhood or a story of freedom? I hope we are inspired by our own stories and use them to change the world around us. I hope we are inspired to create safe spaces for others to own their own stories, and in this way, we create new cycles of hope, love, and life for the world. If I can find hope in my story, so can you, and so can we all collectively. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Soya. That was really inspiring and really, really great to hear about your story and the thoughts that you shared. I actually got the privilege to be able to go to Palestine last January, and it was a really enlightening experience. And I will definitely say that the courage and the hope from the locals is definitely what made it so inspiring for myself. So inshallah, my prayers are with everyone going through war and occupation at the moment. So I really appreciate you sharing that with us today. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for sharing this.
Thank you. So guys, we will be moving on to the next slide. Sorry, Jen. Just to kind of like start with the awards at the moment. This will give us a chance to hear from each of the organizations that have been awarded. So we are going to start with the awarded organizations for Highly Commended Prize. So our first one, congratulations to ABC to Read. I will invite Waleed as the judge to share some thoughts and award for them, please.
Good afternoon. Do we have anyone from ABC on the call, do you know? Hi, Laura. I saw your hand. I don't know if there's anybody else because I can only see so many people on one screen. Well, thanks for coming along. I won't steal your thunder, and I won't pretend that I've done anything other than just simply look at this and think that it's a fantastic idea. And I'll try to do my best to summarize it very quickly. I love the idea that ABC have, which is essentially getting adults to help children to read, but with a twist. And that twist was that they were focusing more on getting adults from ethnic communities and adults who are able to speak different languages and understand different cultures to read to children and to identify with them to help them. And they recognized a vacuum in the market, which I thought was important, that there is clearly a disparity between white reading skills and ethnic minority reading skills. And I see that in my school with my children. I see that in other schools when I've been around this year helping them with a different initiative. And I thought it was quite a simple thing that could be really easily scaled up. So whether that's from ethnic minorities to French speaking to Spanish speaking to all of the languages that you find in Africa and in Asia, I thought that was a really good initiative. I thought the value creation was fantastic. I am quite passionate about 4 or 5-year-olds and their education. Having one helps. But I felt that getting to them at an early stage was integral because as soon as you're behind at primary school, it's very, very difficult to pick up. If you're not reading at 4 or 5 and everyone is advancing to, different phonics at 7, 8, you're always going to be behind and you're never going to have the chance to catch up. And so focusing on that area was integral. And being an ethnic origin and having family members that can't read was obviously a passion of mine. So when I read this, I really could resonate with it. So great initiative. Keep up the great work. I'd love to see opportunities for that to be scaled outside of the Berkshire area, and really well done.
That's great. I'd love to invite Laura up just to say a few words just on the awards, if that's all right.
Hi. I think we also have Jenny, one of the trustees, on the call. I don't know whether Jenny would like to say something.
You're just on mute, Jenny. Sorry.
Oh, still on mute.
Mhm. There might be a microphone button at the top. So if you can see leave, just two left from that is a microphone. There you go.
Okay, can you hear me now? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Shall I go first, Laura? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Jenny.
Yeah, we are a wonderful charity. I've been a trustee for about 13, 14 years, but I've also been a reading mentor for small children for 20 years. And it's just wonderful to see small children develop their reading skills on a one-to-one basis with somebody that's really interested in them as a little human being and wants to promote confidence for them and get them on to the next level of loving books. And it is a real privilege to be part of this charity, and all the things you're talking about, diversity, and that it's a very diverse area, the Royal County of Berkshire, surprisingly. And if we can do any good work in that regard, then I think, you know, we are just fortunate as human beings to be involved in it. So over to you, Laura.
Yes, I'm lucky enough to work with about 20 of our volunteers in West Berkshire, and the work they do really is amazing. So many of the children they work with, they may come from a difficult home background. They may not have parents able to read to them at home, and we all know as parents, schools are very keen for children to read at home every evening with their parents, but not all children have that available to them. So our volunteers giving up their time to go into school and listen to children read, but not only that, play some games and have a lovely chat about their life and how they are, just makes such a difference to these children's lives, and could be the difference between them succeeding in education and onwards or not. So yeah, I'm really proud to be involved with ABC to Read. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Laura and Jenny. Really great initiative, and well done on your prize. Thank you so much. On to the next one here we've got is we have the Whiz Kids, and just congratulations to you guys, and I will invite Mark to share some thoughts and award from you, please.
Thanks. It was great reading all these nominations. There were so many of them, but it was really inspiring to sit back and take some time to read them. I think the thing with WizKids, so WizKids are an organisation that specifically works towards supporting wheelchair users aged between 16 and 25. And the one thing I found really powerful about the nomination that they put in was the fact that it's one thing to serve a community as a charity, but it's really one thing separate to kind of empower that group of people to become ambassadors of change. And I really love the way with their kids board that they've created a situation where the people they serve are really empowered to speak up about the changes they want to see in society. They've done so many great things throughout this, but in particular, I loved the university document they've pulled together. So they've pulled together a guide on how to deal with university, and university is one of the most daunting things anyone can go through normally, but to be a wheelchair user and experiencing that, I can imagine, is not the easiest journey. So it was really a great opportunity, I think, to tackle a big way, a big opportunity, I guess, in which they could support these young people. But it wasn't stopping there. I mean, they've done so many things. They're connected to so many different organisations, the Department of Work and Pension, Transport for London, all ways in which they can connect with these groups and try to campaign and advocate for simple changes that would make a huge difference to the life of the young wheelchair users. So I was really impressed with their application, and congratulations on being highly commended.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Mark. And have we got a representative from WizKids?
Yeah, we
Hello.
have. So
Hello.
we've actually got Rebecca on the call, who I think is happy to speak. She's actually off from our kids board, so I'm going to let Rebecca do the talking, not me.
Fab.
WizKids is the leading charity for young wheelchair users, and we support young people by providing wheelchairs and by delivering confidence-building opportunities, such as wheelchair skills training and activity days. For example, accessible surfing, skiing, sports, and animal encounters, many of which I've benefited from. Kids Board are our youth panel who drive our policy work. We have our own manifesto, which focuses on 4 key themes: travel, accessibility, employment, and education. We're currently doing an education project. We believe it is the largest survey of young wheelchair users and education professionals, and we have researched what support is available for young people, how young wheelchair users feel about the education they're receiving, and what else can be done to improve support in mainstream as well as SEN schools. We have asked the same of education professionals, and we are currently reviewing the results and deciding our recommendations. This money will enable us to publish and launch the report next year and ensure we work towards ensuring equity in education for young people. Thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca. And just to sort of sum up on that all of that was kind of the second part of our A to Z. So the A to Z's on the UCAS website and on our own website if you'd like to have a look at it. But we're now doing the before the university bit so that it'll all link together.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Rachel and Rebecca, sorry, and thank you, Joanna. That's really insightful and a great experience. That just moving on to the next one, just conscious of time. We have Afrikindness. Lisa was the judge on that one, and she was not able to make the call. So I'm honoured to congratulate Afrikindness as the organisation, and we would invite your representatives to come forward, and we would love to hear more about your organisation and potentially what you might be able to use the highly commended grant for.
Thank you very much to the judges and everyone who's been part of this process. I'm glad to be here, Petty Obani, as the parent team lead for Afrikindness. And we also have our Chair of Board of Trustees, Sukwinda Basse, here with us today. I'll just say some brief words about what we do, and then I'll hand it over to Sukwinda. So Afrikindness is an organization that's focused on building a positive racial identity in children from Black minority ethnic backgrounds. And we do this through working with parents as well as schools. Some of the activities which we engage in are purposeful parenting training. We have a cultural day event which we run in UK schools. We also have interventions in countries like Ghana, Nigeria, all geared towards supporting parents and schools to help children build a positive sense of racial identity. The neurodiversity program has been very successful. We've worked with community leaders from across the UK, specifically in Leeds, from faith-based organizations, but also from cultural organizations as well. And what we're trying to do is to take on a train the trainer model where we support the parents, but also the community leaders to understand neurodiversity and be able to support the parents in their communities. Thank you so much for this, and over to you, Sukwinda.
Thank you, Petty. I think Petty has really said it all. I know that Vivian's also on the call, and as chair, really my role is to cheer on the cheerleaders. And the work that Petty and Vivian and team do, balancing life as well as work, and the efforts to bring this program to fruition is quite exemplary. It takes hours and hours to do this, and the value that it's adding to young people, right the way across the country. I see wonderful messages, not just through our website, etc., but also in person. Very, very grateful for the work that they do, and we're committed to helping young people get the education that they deserve, because there are so many different facets and starting points, and we need to do our very best to bridge those gaps.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you both. That's really powerful and really inspiring. So I really appreciate your input there and for sharing that with us today. Just moving on to the next one here, we have is community spaces, and I will invite Vicky as the judge to share some thoughts and award, please.
Hi, and I'm really honoured to be here, and it's nice to see a couple of you from Community Spaces on the call. Congratulations on your highly commended award. Really enjoyed reading all the nominations that came in, but yours really stuck out for me in terms of its impact in the community. Community Spaces incorporates a cafe and a garden, and I've enjoyed looking at some of your social media and some of the things that you get out of the work in the garden at all times of year and for all communities. What I really felt from your application is the personal story that is behind your organisation and the way that you have paid that forward, and it was so inspirational. And you continue to pay it forward, both in terms of the concept that you have, but also the values that you drive, with volunteers moving into paid employment, with volunteering opportunities for all people, with outreach to things like schools, Duke of Edinburgh's award, getting involved in Pride in Lee as well. And the real diversity of your offering really came forward, both in terms of your nomination, but also when I've been doing a little bit of looking and researching around your organisation in the background. Yeah, as I said, I'm a gardener. I love to see the Grow Your Mind initiative that you have. That is just wonderful to see, and the sustainability behind that, and your group is coming through loud and clear in what you do in your garden, in your community, and the value that your volunteers place on your organisation, what your customers really enjoy. And I loved the comment that you made around your customers actually have to tell you when they're going on holiday. You really look out for each other as a group. And finally, just to say, not only is it sustainable in that sense, but this as an initiative is actually quite simple, and it could be replicated in many other communities across the UK. It's something that I think that we should be really learning from. It's really nice to see you on screen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So this is myself. I'm Shelley. This is my husband Dave.
Hi.
I mean, the story is that we actually was the cafe in the park is on our doorstep. I had to finish teaching due to various health reasons, and we just wanted to continue something that was a great asset in a fantastic park. But what we soon learned was from the volunteers we were getting in, we had young people coming to us who had severe anxiety. And my work was as a primary school teacher and a Senko. And I wanted them to be able to feel like they had a safe space to come to. So we made sure that they could come in and they had an escape route. We didn't set out to be about the people that were working for us. We just wanted a space for everybody, but we soon learned that it was the people that we had within the cafe that actually made it. We now have got 3 adults with additional needs who have volunteered for us for several years. We've got different customers, like I said, who have to clock in with us. We have codes for some of our customers, so if they just want to be in a safe space but don't want to be talking, order your drink in a takeaway cup and we won't speak to you. Staff now, we've gone from what was 3-4 days a week with volunteers. We are 7 days a week, 50 weeks of the year, 10 paid staff. And as you mentioned, some of those staff have come from work experience from schools, because we want to be able to give people that first reference. The garden was something that, again, it was like everything's happened kind of organically. That came up through a close friend, found a Green Fingers in lockdown, made redundant from her work in employment in a prison. And we had this space that, that wasn't looked after. So we've now turned it round. She's gone back to working in the prison, and it's Dave who has taken over the garden. And, it's I think it's really sort of taken us by surprise at how much it's used. So we have True Colours, who are a local CIC, which is, young adults with autism. We have the Youth Hub that do the work experience via the Hatch programme, which is funded by KFC, but it's to get young people into employment. So we've recognised that there's, we have our NEET section, not in employment, education or training, and we just want to be able to offer a safe space to everybody. We have a pay it forward board. We'll try and we'll do anything. We're 7 years since conception of the idea, 7 years open with the cafe next March, and hopefully we will just continue to grow from strength to strength.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Really great to hear. And I can actually I can really feel the passion coming through the call when you're talking about it, which is what's so exciting about the initiative. So honestly, keep up the great work, and congratulations on your award. Amazing. Just moving on to the last highly commend award. We have is StrutSafe. The NCVO rep that we had, Ragveer, she did an amazing job sort of through the judging and had a lot of comments to make forward. Unfortunately, she was not able to make the call, but I would like to invite Jen forward just to present the award.
Yeah, thank you, Ali. I'm pressing buttons behind the screen, so I'll stop sharing my screen in a minute. But as Ali said, oh, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep, all good, Jen.
Okay. It's a huge honour to be able to present this award on behalf of Ragveer. I have the most wonderful list that she sent across to me earlier today about all the different reasons why she would like to nominate StrutSafe. But I think from a personal level, I could really resonate with the aims of the organisation. I'm sure anybody who has ever felt unsafe or vulnerable walking about communities on the streets if they're on their own can definitely resonate with the aims of the organisation as well. And something actually that Zoya just said about safe places, I suppose they don't ever have to be a physical place. They can be online platforms, they can be a voice at the end of the phone, and that's exactly what StrutSafe offers. They're the first UK-based travel companion that are offering guidance, support and assistance through a team of volunteers to provide help for those who feel particularly vulnerable. From Ragveer's perspective, they ticked all the boxes when it came to sustainability, scalability, impact, but in particular in terms of diversity and inclusion and the support that they offer for marginalised communities, in particular women and those from the LGBTQ+ community. They've alluded to their ability to be able to scale up, and a stat that was shared with me was the fact that over the last 12 months, uptake in the service has gone 350% more so than the previous year. So it just really highlights the importance of the service. So I will, at that stage, hand over to Ro, who I believe popped up on the call earlier from StrutSafe.
Hi, thank you so much, Jennifer. And thank you everyone for this. This means so much to us. We got started over the pandemic as well in 2021, initially in response to a spate of high-profile instances of street violence. But since then, we've become a UK-wide, all-volunteer operated service. We have just under 100 volunteers right now. And Jennifer is right, we are looking to expand. So we cover the whole UK right now, but we're only open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So this funding will help us recruit more volunteers to staff the line for more days of the week, and hopefully for more hours of the evening. Some statistics as well that we find helpful from a YouGov survey was that 44% of trans people said that they avoid certain streets because they don't feel safe there as an LGBT person, and 1 in 2 women regularly avoid being out at certain times in order to reduce the risk of encountering harassment or assault. And while these statistics feel very grim, we feel really heartened by the response that StrutSafe has gotten from funding bodies and from callers and from volunteers. So if you're at all interested in finding out more about us, we're online at strutsafe.org and on Instagram at strutsafe. But it really means a lot to get the support of organizations like this. And we operate under the belief that until we can all walk safely and travel safely in the world without fear of violence, then we're not free. And so we really believe in the liberating force of a friendly ear to keep you calm and to help you feel safe so that you can live in the world the way that you want to.
Great, Ro. Thank you so much for those kind words and sharing about the organization as well. I think just a note, I think we will be able to share after the call just about all the organizations where we can find sort of links to websites, just so that everyone can kind of do that networking and getting to understand what each of the organizations do in further detail, because I'm sure a short sort of awards call like this is never enough time to like delve into the details. So no, we will definitely be sharing that after the call. Great, thank you so much for that. It brings an end to our highly commended prizes. So congratulations to all of you that received those awards. A big well done, and it is really a big thing. So congrats to you all. Just again, conscious of time, we will just be moving forward to our placed winners. So just on the next slide, our third place winner we have is Yopi. So I would like to invite our judge on that is Anne Constant, just to share some thoughts and to introduce the third place winner.
Thank you very much. And yes, Yope certainly caught my eye for a number of reasons. It is about befriending people in care homes, especially people with dementia. And I think so the first probably key word here is dementia. We know that this is a major issue in the UK with more than 900,000 people suffering from it. And this is likely to double in the next 20 years. We also know that these people very often suffer from loneliness. And so when I saw what Yope is doing, I found it quite incredible, since not only are they bringing befrienders into the care homes, no, they are actually bringing school children into these care homes, which is, something very unique, very rare. And this intergenerational aspect, I think, was quite fantastic to see, especially since, we probably all can sense that it's not the same to get a visit from another adult or elderly person. But I think Yope has firsthand experience to show the value and impact it has to bring young people together with the elderly. So I think one piece as well to highlight is that it's really the young people who are the stars of the show here, and it's recognizing that the younger generation can have such a positive impact on their communities. With dementia being the issue that I've mentioned, it also means equipping a lot of young people with skills and an approach of inclusivity for something that might affect their families or friends in the future. So we thought that by recognizing Yope, we could achieve a couple of things. We know you operate in a very, very light structure, so hopefully this helps you a bit in that sense. And we are convinced that this fundamental concept of bringing young and elderly people who are suffering from dementia together can absolutely be replicated. It can be scaled. We know that your founder has a lot of best practices built up over a lot of time. So maybe formalizing this, amplifying the message, and getting other people to follow suit would be a fantastic outcome. So with that, I think I've seen several people on the line. Maybe Jason, Isabel, and Mark, over to you.
Yeah, so I'm not sure the order, so I'll just start. So my name's Mark, and I've been a Yope befriender for around 2 years. And throughout my time with Yope, I've been able to develop my communication skills, my empathy, and I've had the honor to meet many lovely elderly folk in the care home that I visited. When the school bus that was taking my group of young people to the care home stopped running, I started to bike the 3 miles to the care home to visit the elderly person. I did this every Tuesday for like around an hour, and this allowed me to build a really close friendship with the elderly person I would visit, called Janet. And since moving to university and not being able to have that weekly visit anymore, I've continued to keep in contact with her through sending her letters. And what Yope's mission is to just decrease the amount of loneliness that people feel in care homes, and raise awareness and train people in how to deal with and how to communicate with people who have dementia. So before you become a Yope befriender, Tony Guerin provides a training session, and then that allows you to empathize better with these elderly people and communicate better, and overall just improve the experience that they have in care homes. It's also worth mentioning that 2 of my friends who volunteered with me have been inspired by Yope to pursue a career in nursing. So they're both at university studying nursing now. And then, yeah, that's pretty much all. I'll hand over to one of the other Yoppie befrienders.
Thank you so much, Mark. Isabel or Jason, who wants to go next?
I believe you're going to be hearing from Isabel. I'm fairly new to Yoppie. I only joined them a couple of months ago, and I mainly help them with social media and graphic design and things like that. I'm not actually directly involved in the volunteering side.
Okay. Isabel, do you feel like sharing your experience with us?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi. I've been a Yoppie befriender for just over a year now, and I think it's really important you talk about that intergenerational thing, and that was something that stood out to me and encouraged me to be a Yoppie befriender in the first place. But I've really found that through my experience, the intergenerational lines have almost been blurred, and I don't see it as going to visit an elderly person who's sick, and I don't think Frances, who I visit, sees me as a younger person coming to visit her. I think it's more now we've developed a relationship to the point we see each other as just friends, and it's really blurring those lines and divisions that you might otherwise think exist.
Thank you, Isabel. Obviously, that's a fantastic outcome in terms of belonging and feeling included. So again, big congratulations to Yoppie for this effort, and I really hope your efforts will be copied and replicated more widely. So best of luck and good continuation for your efforts. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Anne. Appreciate that, and thank you for that first-hand sort of experience to share with us. That's been really insightful for us all to listen to. Just moving on to our second place winner we have is the Birth Partner Project. Our judge on that was Samantha. So I would like to invite Samantha up just to share some thoughts and introduce the award, please.
Thank you so much. My absolute pleasure to be able to share some information with you about this wonderful project. It really stood out to me when I was reviewing all the applications initially, and I think it's really interesting actually hearing from Zoya at the start of this session and talking about safe spaces, that sense of belonging and how you're going to share your story, because I really get the sense that this is what the Birth Partner Project is all about. So they support women during pregnancy, at birth, and then for a period postpartum who would otherwise face those times alone. They support a really diverse group of people from over 30 countries, people speaking more than 22 different languages. And they provide each of the mamas, as they call them, a team of 3 to 4 volunteer birth partners who can offer practical support, emotional support throughout their journey. And then afterwards, they offer kind of a drop-in service as well. And I think, potentially not only are they helping these mothers through what is an incredibly challenging and vulnerable time in their lives, but changing the stories and the outcomes for their babies as well. So really, really incredible. They shared some great outcomes they saw over the last year around improving the mental well-being of the mamas they worked with, increasing awareness about the rights and choices that they could make, reducing loneliness around those women as well. And they talk about the fact that they've been able to expand their service to a pilot of a drop-in service as well, so that support can continue for them and for their babies, which I genuinely feel will change the stories for all of those going forward. They've got some big plans as well going forward to kind of grow their capacity, increase volunteer numbers, and continue to train volunteers. And what I thought was really exciting about this is that they've already successfully trained one of the mamas that they helped, who has become a trustee on their board, and they're hoping to encourage more of the mums to get involved, to actually be the birthing partners too. They're based in Cardiff at the moment, but there's a clear opportunity to scale up, to potentially go kind of much more broadly, or work with other partners in other parts of the UK as well, because this isn't a need that's just felt in Cardiff. I think this is a need that's felt across the country, particularly near centres where we're looking after refugees as well. So yeah, it just really stood out to me. I was very fortunate when I was going through my birth and my pregnancy to have, you know, a whole myriad of support around me. I cannot imagine what it must be like for people who are doing this alone. So this group and this organisation coming in at that point will genuinely be life-changing for those mamas and their babies. So absolutely thrilled that you've been able to get the second place award today. And I'm going to stop there because I'd love for some of the representatives from the Birth Partner Project to share your story in a bit more detail.
Thanks so much, Sam. Yeah, I believe we have Emily on the call.
Hi. Yes.
Hey.
Hello. Hi, Samantha. I'm beaming. It's just so amazing hearing somebody talk about the Birth Partner Project, and just to know that you're able just to capture just the heart of who we are. So thank you so much. You're right. It's an incredible organisation with incredible potential. So really wonderful that Zurich could see that and give us that opportunity to really just be more creative with helping our mamas. Yes, they are our mamas. That's what they call each other. So that's what we call them. Actually, just in the early hours of last night, this morning, a mama gave birth to a healthy baby girl and was supported by a member of our team. And got a message in the early hours saying, "I'm just dressing the baby while mama has some tea and toast." It's a really simple statement, simple message on WhatsApp, but that almost just shows you that power of not being alone in that moment, the actual birth itself. Also the preparations and thinking about the birth plan, and we make sure we get interpreters involved so that they can really understand their rights and different options in the birth room, so we can really speak up for them and advocate for them. We're really aware at the Birth Partner Project of quite shocking statistics when it comes to maternal health, and I would say also fatalities, especially you are more likely to die during childbirth in the UK if you are Black or brown, which is just absolutely shocking. And so we're really looking into that. We're working out what is that. Well, there's a myriad of reasons, but one part we believe, it may be small, but it's a place that we can contribute, is by having somebody to really advocate and support and to be with you the whole time, that whole birth journey, to spot from symptoms early on during pregnancy, the birth itself, speaking up for that woman's rights, and just making sure we can take care of her in the postpartum season as well. So we're really excited that you spotted that. Yes, just to kind of echo some of the things you shared there, we want to make sure that we are a by and for organisation. It's really, really important. Sadly, none of our mamas joined the call today, and it's just me, and I would have loved to have been able to get them all on a call with you. Yes, we've got a lady who is on our trustee board. She actually interviewed me. I'm the new director of the charity, so I'm quite new, but I was really pleased that I could answer her questions. We have another trustee who I met the other day, and she's gone through the whole journey. So she's still a mama, and well, she's got her children. She's obviously still a mama, but with the drop-in service and providing that kind of sisterhood support. But again, also a trustee, also supporting us strategically as a charity, which is amazing. And then we have 3 really special mamas who have formed a steering group to inform us of what we need to be doing from their perspective, which is absolutely brilliant. But there is so much more, and I think that's why it's really exciting that Zurich has spotted the opportunity, especially for small charities. We're a tiny little charity in Cardiff, like you said, and you heard our dreams. We want to grow, but right now it's for small charities to have those creative thoughts, those early morning ideas, those visions up. Oh, it would be great if we do that before you get stuck into all the work. And some of those exciting thoughts that you kind of give us a little bit of support with now is, how can we really train in a sensitive way, in a trauma-informed care approach way as well, considering the journeys that these women have been through, and that could be from fleeing conflict zones, persecution, exploitation, FGM, trafficking, anything. How can we be really careful and keep a mama-centered approach whilst making sure they can also be empowered to say, yeah, I want to come in that birthing room and now help the next mama, and it not being tokenistic, but it just being really aware of that's what it should be. And I'm really aware of my, well, I'm not aware enough, but I am aware a little bit of my own power and privilege as I lead this charity. I mean, I'm a citizen for one. That comes with so many more privileges than I was aware of before. I used to some time with refugees. I've been in that sector for a little while, and so advocating for and speaking up, but also not replacing that voice, which I'm aware I'm doing now. So I'll leave you just a last little thought. Next Friday, if anyone's in Cardiff, this is a small group of people, very unlikely, but you might know someone, we are hosting a Christmas event, and it's going to be, you know, classic carols, but also we're going to invite our mamas to sing, to share poetry, and I'm going to give a speech at that event because that's what you do, and you're raising money and you're promoting the public kind of awareness of who we are. But that speech, I'm going to make it as short as I can so that I can enable our mamas to stand up and just share their stories, so that I'm really just that facilitator, and we really want to just emphasize those voices. So you're absolutely right, Samantha, that I was very excited to hear Zoya speak. I mean, you've really moved my heart anyway. I didn't think I'd be able to get through this part. I was already in tears at 5 minutes into the call. Thank you, Zoya. But absolutely, sharing stories is so powerful, and it's something I would say struggle with in terms of the traditional charity sense. I can't go in the birth room with a camera and interview what was that like having a birth partner with you. So being creative about it, but actually on a completely different side of it, stories as a form of healing. And that's what I heard through your voice, Zoya. So I'd love to be in touch with you after this, doing another plug while I've got the floor. But just the spirit of collaboration just runs through the Birth Partner Project anyway. And I would just love to just share more. And just a big thank you from all of us for Zurich Insurance for enabling us to have this extra boost, as I said, to be more creative with how we can really include more of our mamas in what we do. So thank you so much. I'll post our link here.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing those words, and thanks, Samantha, for that award. I think actually Joanna is in Cardiff, so you might have someone else to attend your little Christmas party, which is great. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. That leads us on to our final place, which is our first place winner, which is Spark Insight. So congratulations. I would like to invite the judge, Ruth, up just to share some thoughts and to introduce the award, please.
Thank you very much, Ali, and hello everybody. It has been an absolute privilege to hear from you all directly, and it was a true honour to judge and be part of this process, and to learn so much about all the wonderful charities that applied. So yes, the winners, many congratulations to Spark Inside and their initiative Black Heroes Journey, which seeks to bring back the humanity and the self-identity and self-worth of Black and mixed heritage prisoners. When I was reading through the submission from Spark Inside, what really stood out to me was the sheer depth of impact that Black Heroes Journey created. And this isn't just an impact for the beneficiaries directly, but we're talking about levels of sustainability for society, as well as in terms of the programme itself in its replicability as well. So it truly was inspiring to read through the nomination, and there is a quote from it that I would like to read out that I think surmises it wonderfully. And it says, by recognising the humanity of every individual and creating environments where Black joy can flourish, we can build a future where everyone is seen, heard and valued. And I know that elements of that absolutely resonate through every single application and every single charity that we've heard from today. But I found that particularly powerful, and to understand how Black Heroes Journey is co-created with Black and mixed heritage individuals that have lived experience of the prison system, to understand as I say, the depth of impact that this programme creates for its beneficiaries and society at large, was truly inspiring. You cannot really underestimate or understate the value of building a person's self-worth so that they can reach their potential. And that is truly what came through in this application. So I will be quiet because I think it is absolutely correct that the representatives from Spark Inside get to talk about this wonderful initiative. Thanks.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, I would like to invite up the representatives. I did get an email earlier for confirming the attendance, and I'm pretty sure it's almost half the call that I got through. So any of the representatives from Spark Inside that would like to share, please do.
Hi there. So my name is Tom Curry. I'm the Head of Impact and Innovation at Spark Inside, and I'll be joined with my coaches, Jeffrey and Milka, to tell you a little bit about the work we've done. But before I give the floor over to the people who really know the stories, because they're involved in the delivery of the work face to face, I'd just like to share a little bit about Spark Inside and the foundation upon what we were building. So Spark Inside has existed as a charity for about 10 years, and our main offer is coaching inside prisons. And we do that through a program called the Hero's Journey. And the Hero's Journey is based obviously on the work of Joseph Campbell, a mythologist, who recognized that in every hero's journey there are certain stages. And so we go in, and it's so powerful that we're talking about stories today. We go into prisons to help them imagine what is the hero's journey that they might be on. And through doing that work over 3 workshops, and then them joining into a one-to-one coaching relationship with one of the facilitators, we found that we can really show an evidence that they make all sorts of personal outcomes within their own life. And we've been doing that for about 10 years, and we've been attracting a lot of Black and mixed heritage prisoners to come and join the program. But what we kept on being told was that they actually wanted to work with more Black coaches themselves. They felt they were more understood in that situation. And so we pulled together the Black Heroes Journey design team, and Jeffrey, who's there on the right, will be talking with you shortly, but you've also got Sam, Michael, Tony and Cecilia, who all input into the design process. And this was started back in 2018, when we decided that this was a need that we needed to be able to respond to. And so we ran 3 pilots in HMP ISIS to test out these initial ideas that we'd got. And it was really about how, rather than talking about buzzwords or theories, how do we actually tuck into the experience of young Black men and give them a safe place to explore the stories that they've built up inside themselves, the beliefs that they've taken on, and to come up with more empowering stories for themselves. And we were so thrilled with how those pilots went that we thought we really need to give a voice to those stories. And so we've recently published this evaluation, which was carried out by Dr. Noreen Deera, which follows the stories of 7 individuals who went through those 3 pilots. And I'll share the link in the chat shortly. And in those interviews, she discovered these stories about their identity, about their resilience, about the transformation that they'd experienced. And she's done a brilliant job of sharing that within the report. But there's just 4 sort of key outcomes that she was able to recognize. The first was that they made a breakthrough in their understanding of what it was like to be in prison and how they were dealing with the prison life. And that was about the mask that they were wearing, the ways that they responded to certain challenging situations, and also just accepting that looking like a big Black man within that environment attracts a certain level of attention and a certain level of labeling that is unhelpful, and that they need to be able to navigate that. But it was really important also that they could reconnect with what's powerful and brilliant and beautiful about and joyous about their identity. And so we did a lot of work on going back into the history of Black cultures and what they bring in there, and helping them connect with the value and the values that has not only to society but also within themselves. The third one was really about helping them to build that emotional resilience and find purpose. I say helping them. They did all of the work. We just provided a space where they could share their stories, learn from each other, and feel safe to be vulnerable. And that really speaks to the fourth outcome, which was about these genuine connections that they were able to make within the program, and that really fostered, you know, a place for them to be able to explore what it meant to be Black and male within that environment, and what future they wanted to be able to create for themselves. Just before I pass to Jeffrey, I just want to say thank you so much for the £10,000 that you're giving us for this. I mean, the program, since we ran those pilots, has been able to attract some great support from the HMPPS, the Prison Service Innovation Fund, and we're currently funded to roll it out in Brixton and HMP Feltham. But the money that you're giving us will allow us to broaden the conversation and think really about how do we broaden out the understanding of what it takes to create culturally competent spaces within the secure environment. But I can't really do any more than just pass you over to Jeffrey, who can speak with a lot more depth and experience about that. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, great to be here. Great to meet you all, and congratulations to everyone else. It's really interesting to listen and hear about all the great work the other charities are doing. I have no idea how long I have, so Ruth, can you give me an indication, please? How long should I be talking for on average?
Yeah, no, I was probably going to say, ideally within sort of the next 7 to 10 minutes. Just conscious of time wrapping up, really, guys.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess Milka's there, so maybe we half that time. But yeah, so the Black Heroes Journey does a lot. Firstly, and you know, I'll just be totally honest and transparent. You know, we've been working in prisons for over 10 years, and we speak to prisoners, and what they say is the Heroes Journey is the best thing in there. It's the best program in there. So, you know, I've often said, you know, I'm self-employed. I've chosen to work for Spark Inside because I wanted to have effective change in prisons. And if there was what I knew or felt was a better intervention, I would be doing that because, you know, I'm hugely passionate about the prison work. So I totally believe in the Heroes Journey. I think it's an amazing program. It's not a program for young men in prisons. The Heroes Journey is a life coaching program, and it works equally as well with professionals. And I actually do some work outside where I work with a fintech company, and part of that work is the Heroes Journey. And that's a broader program with lots of elements in it. And when the feedback comes back, everyone says they love the Heroes Journey. We do taster sessions as well for the staff, etc., to really understand what the young men are going to engage in, and all the staff love it. So the Heroes Journey isn't for young people, right? It's an amazing intervention, and I make that point because I believe we bring value to the system, great value to the system, which the system needs, and the young people feel that. And that's the Heroes Journey anyway. And then, you know, as Tom said, we have the Black Heroes Journey, which really came from the young men. And they wanted a different space, and I could understand why they want a different space. What I never anticipated was how valuable that space would be, how necessary the space would be. And it's been a real game changer for a lot of the young men in prisons. And if you just think about the typical young man in prison, they really don't engage in society the way we engage in society. You know, they tend to come from a small cohort of the population. Most of them have had serious adverse childhood experiences. Lots of them are without family, friends, and essentially the streets grab them. The influence and the ability to go into that lifestyle is a lot easier than many people would think if you're not familiar with that lifestyle. And in London and inner cities around England, and probably Wales, you know, the color of your skin does have a major impact and influence in the outcomes. And essentially, you know, I say it's because of culture. It's the way the culture is, the way music is, the way society is, the way so many narratives come together to have what can be said as a systemic impact. So when we work together with the young black men, you know, we do various exercises, and one of the exercises ask questions where they could explore if they feel their life outcomes would be different if they weren't black. And you know, I haven't physically done any research, but anecdotally, 98% of them feel as though their life outcomes would be different if they weren't Black. And I come from an inner city as well. I come from that lifestyle, that culture. That's why I do the work in prisons, because I was fortunate enough not to head down that path. So I understand that thinking, I understand that reasoning, and being Black myself and growing up in those environments, you know, life is painted in a way where this is the expectation, or this is what's supposed to happen. So with young Black men, there really aren't a lot of positive role models. There really doesn't seem like there's a lot to offer. And as I say, with other things just in society, that message is reinforced through many avenues. So what we essentially do is we manage to show an accurate lens somehow, and that's the power of coaching and the facilitation. We manage to show an accurate lens, so it's not a teaching program. We don't go and say this is what you should think or this is the way things really are, but we explore, and we bring our framework, we bring our tools, and we ask questions, and we get to explore, and we talk, and we facilitate those conversations, and the young men can begin to see that their path wasn't laid out for them in the way they thought it was, but actually they did have some agency, they did have some choice. There was just a lot of contributing factors which resulted in the choices they made. So when they can have that awareness that actually my life can be different, then they've got choice like everyone else, right? And for many of them, they realize they've got choice for the first time. So then it's their ability to choose, will it be different? And I could tell you hundreds of stories. As I say, I've been doing this for over a decade, on powerful changes and choices young men have made. Some young men who are prominent gang members, drug dealers, very violent, done all manner of stuff, have literally changed their lives, are at university, getting distinctions, have set up legit businesses where they employ subcontractors. I've introduced all these young men to Spark Inside that I work with, and they don't reoffend, and that's the most important thing. And one story that just sticks out to me is from HMP Brixton, and they had a young man who's been, he was probably about 30 years old. I can't be totally sure, but maybe about 30 years old, and he'd been in prison since about 13, 14. So he'd just been a repeat offender. He was well known, and if you understand the prison world, sometimes the prison system just has to do things in a way where everyone can have peace. So he's a well-known offender, inmate. He cannot share with anyone. He's very high risk. And the prison work with him in a way where if they kind of keep him sweet, he will be okay, and the world will be able to function, prison will be able to function. And something happened on one occasion where there was a problem on his wing, and they have free flow where they're able to just move up and down, and free flow was closed, meaning he's no longer able to come to the workshop. And he made a big fuss to say, and he spoke to one of the seniors and said, just remember my workshop. And they had to change the regime in some ways just to bring him. And I say that to say he's in prison and he really wanted to come to this workshop. He made a case for a workshop where really nobody does that. They'll make such a case for the gym, for example. This particular young man had a very transformative change in he was not a trusted prisoner, high risk, high alert, lots of information about him. And after the workshop, I was coaching him, and I slowly saw that he got promoted, or he got given a job to be a violence reduction rep. And he had the reputation to do that. The thing is, it's just, will the prison trust him? And not only did they trust him to be a violence reduction rep, they moved him onto their reception. So when new prisoners are coming in, he's the one that will be facilitating, and they created that job for him. And he was basically on a positive transition. And this is months, because I'd been working with him for months while he was still in prison. And one incident occurred where another prisoner actually attacked him with hot water, and it got his skin. His clothes seeped into his skin. He showed me the scar. It was absolutely disgusting. And I tell you that story because he did not retaliate, and the whole prison was shocked and surprised that he did not retaliate. And he had his opportunity because the person threw the hot water and was there. And, the story says the person threw the hot water because he wanted to leave the prison. And the person who did the attack knew there's no way he could attack this prisoner and they would keep him in the prison for his own safety. So they actually moved him out. So this is the type of characters that I'm talking about. And as I say, he did not retaliate. And as we discussed why he didn't retaliate, he said, because Jeffrey, I've got a vision now. You know, I've got plans and I need to stick to that. And if I do this, everything that I've worked for is gonna come to nothing. And he still had some time to serve. So his vision was to go to open prison. And as it happens, I spoke to because I want to go and see him. And I spoke to one of the service delivery managers just to check if he was there, because he was cleared to have his category D, so he could move at any time. And just today, I checked in with the SDM, and then the SDM, the service delivery manager, said he has been moved to open prison. So that's great. And this is a prisoner who would never have a chance of going to open prison, but just his consistent behavior and how he's remained trusted, even in the face of high adversity, has meant he's trusted to go to open prison. And we knew this was a possibility. So he gave me his partner's number, and I'll be contacting his partner to be able to continue my relationship with him. So yeah, I guess that's what I'll share. And I'll hand over to you, Milka.
Hi, everyone. I'm a new coach. I joined Spark Inside during summer. So I just started working with them, and it was pure serendipity, I would say. So we deliver one-on-one coaching and workshops. And like Zoya said, when it's about finding what is your purpose, you need to look into your story. And my story was one of healing, resilience, growth, and love. And Spark Inside is about all that, you know, and those are the people that I want to help. From the very first workshop, we can see the impact that it has on them. We can see that exploring subjects and topics that they've never taken the time to think about, you know, they live with a different mindset, different sense of self-worth, self-belief, and they're able to understand who they are, to look at their story, but from a different perspective, and to understand that they are able to work on their dreams, to turn them into projects. I've got many stories already about the people that I'm coaching at the moment and the different journeys, because we are supporting them during their incarceration, but also once they get released. So we're able to help them navigate the transition, and we can see their growth. We can see how important it was for them to develop some self-acceptance, self-belief, to break free from the role and the image and the vision they had of themselves and grow. And what I can say is that every day I'm grateful to be part of their journeys. I can see how important it is to be there for them, to see them, to hear them, because this is a place, you know, working with us and being in that room where they can feel seen and heard, maybe for the first time in their life, where they're able to be who they really are and not who other people want them to be. And even during the transition, you can see how, you know, intense it is for them to create their new life and to stick to their newfound values and self-belief, and supporting them one by one and being there for them. And for me, it means everything. The impact, I can see it every day, and I will just try and try to help as many people as possible, as in as many prisons as possible, like we're doing every day. I'm working in London, I'm working in Kent, I'm traveling all week, and I feel the importance of me showing up for them, to be that person for them, someone that most of us, we don't have in our environment, someone who we can really talk about who we are really, and we can fully embrace who we are and share who we are without any fear of being judged, you know, or seen in a negative way. So I don't know what else I can say about that, apart from I'm very grateful to be part of their journeys, to be part of Spark Inside. And I just hope to keep working for as long as possible with these young men and help them grow and create their desired life, because they are able to do that and they feel empowered and they believe in themselves. That's it.
Thank you, Milka. That's really, really powerful. Thanks so much, Tom, Milka, and Jeffrey, for sharing your insights and your experiences. on Spartanside. So again, thank you very much, and thank you, Ruth, for having the opportunity to be able to select them and be able to present the awards to them today. So I just want to thank all the judges just now for us going through all of the applications and being able to select everyone that's here today. A big congratulations to everyone that was able to receive an award and to be able to hear these amazing eye-opening experiences, to see what's going on in our communities, and more so the real change and impact that we've been able to see is honestly fantastic. Like, you just need to keep up the good work and keep doing what you're doing, because it is clearly making an impact. I think it's been a really great experience today. This is the first time that I've done something like this. And I think it's a great opportunity for everyone here to be able to connect and network and, you know, help out each other, whether it's your initiatives, whether it's the organization you're part of, or individual contacts. It would be great. So what I'll do is next week, you should receive an email, just sort of a follow-up email after this call kind of thing, where I'll include the recording and just sort of the organizations that attended, a couple of links, just so that if you are wanting to reach out to each other, that would be ideal. Any other material that you guys would like included or to be shared, you can feel free to send it forward to any of the Zurich emails that you've been conversing with, and that would be ideal. But once again, yeah, thank you so much to all of our judges and to all of the organizations. A big round of applause for you all. You really deserve the awards that you all got, and I appreciate everyone's participation today as well. So we are finishing up 8 minutes early, so just wrapping up some time for everyone back, but I appreciate once again everyone's participation today.
Thank you so much. Lovely
Thank you
meeting
very
you
much,
and hearing about your
Thanks, Ellie.
stories. Bye.
Well done, thank you.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations
Thank
all.
you, and well done,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.